you start?
Yes.
Okay, then I'll shut up.
No, you go ahead. Go ahead, by all means.
I'm just gonna paste this here, and then we're just gonna go and play the game and pretend like nothing happened.
Yeah, are we?
Hey, it's a tie-in to the comic.
Wait, are you talking about Manda's Link or are you talking
No.
about the updates Warframe?
No, the
Sweet
Warframe
Jesus.
update.
Thank God, I missed some cosmetics that are fucking harrowing. Oh,
I mean,
blessing my timeline
well,
with sexual bird feeders.
all right. NATO,
Okay.
paint this picture for me.
So you guys have returned to Lua with your new Void ship. You have docked your orbiter with the Void ship, so now that you have combined them into one super ship. And I assume you updated the Lotus about, shit that happens.
Yeah, Kirai's, I assume, in the middle of while they were waiting for the Void ship and therefore the remainder of our crew to come aboard, and they get to have their reactions to where the fuck were you, and I'm sure this will involve a lot of fretting on Excalibur and Trinity's part, and and stoic indifference on the part of Oberon.
I imagine me just walking in and seeing Excalibur like in an arm lock on the floor of the orbiter, being held down by everyone else.
Yeah, Excalibur absolutely. As soon as he got in and confirmed that MT is good, she's alive. He found a lockable room, and he picked up MT. And he put her in that room.
Excuse me?
And he locked the door.
Hey, wait!
And then just kind of like stood in front of the door on the other side of the room with his arms folded.
You can't do this!
and he just kind of like did that for about a minute until he felt better. And then he opened the door.
Did you just get time-outed by your own Warframe?
That was a closet.
He shrugs.
How much is Trinity fussing over Kirai?
She is checking to see if you have any extra wounds, if how is your hair? How is your face? Are you hurt? She basically just like checked on everything. To like an annoying extent.
I see. You are concerned. I can tell. I believe my chest is uninjured.
And Oberon is wholly indifferent.
In fact, I do not believe I took any wounds myself the entire time.
Good to see you too, buddy.
He looks around. He notes that you don't have a cat.
Yeah.
And
why didn't you come back with a cat, assholes? What does he think of? Okay, here's a question.
Then he stopped caring.
We do have Nidus, though.
We have Nidus.
That's true.
We have a new girl plus Nidus.
He notes the maggots. And like
they're like little gross kittens we discovered last game.
It's if only you could really get the full breadth of expression from Oberon, because he's so conflicted right now.
Yeah,
he's like looking at these maggots. It is just like, I could pet this,
and it
would be my friends. But is it worth this risk? Am I this desperate for animal companionship? Is this an animal?
It moves like one.
And like Nidus is also standing there watching Oberon, just kind of waiting for judgment either way, which just adds to the tension. Because if Oberon goes, no, these aren't real animals, I don't want to pet them, then Nidus is just going to clock them because racist.
Is it?
I mean, there is always the awkward moment of any exotic pet owner when you're exposing them to a new person. It's like, please don't be an asshole. Please don't be an asshole. Please don't be an asshole.
Yeah, and if, but at the same time, like, if he is too enthusiastic about petting the maggots, then Nidus is going to have to step in and establish dominance because those are his maggots, not Oberon's. So it's just this really tense moment of Nidus standing there, Oberon standing across from him, and then some maggots just kind of rolling around and frolicking between them.
Oh, they're too cute.
And the two Warframes just kind of staring at each other.
I scoop one up and show it to Oberon.
Oberon, he looks at it, and then he looks at Nidus, and then he looks at it, and he looks at Nidus. Nidus gives him just the slightest sort of tilt of his head, and then Oberon pets the maggots.
There we go. We're all friends here.
Look, dumb shit's happening. We can appreciate all of this.
Yes. So yeah. After the Lotus is updated, she is appreciative that you guys are back.
Yeah.
That you're safe.
I sort of imagine that, so, because it's sort of implied the Lotus can more or less keep tabs on everybody at once. I sort of assumed that she notices if somebody just drops out of contact entirely.
Yes.
So she can technically contact us anywhere, even if we're mid-mission, but if she needs to. But I imagine if we're just totally out of range, that's cause for alarm, especially if the last place we were was someplace like Lua.
Right. So yes, she's appreciative of you guys are okay, and is congratulatory on the respect that you guys now have an even cooler ship.
Yeah.
And she gives you an update on some things happening in the Origin system while you were gone.
See, Kire asks how long they were gone. She's not actually certain.
Apparently, you were only gone about 3 days.
Longer than I had hoped, but not as long as I had feared.
And like this is totally out of character. Doing the Lotus voice is like really stressful for me, so I've like been avoiding it as much as possible.
That's fair.
Because she has just such a very specific voice and a very specific diction that I cannot do. No matter how much I've tried and practiced, I cannot do the Lotus's voice.
You're not the Lotus. It's okay.
It's okay.
You can just say, the Lotus says this if you don't want to.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing.
Lotus just sent a text message going, the Lotus has a throat issue.
Yeah.
Send lozenges and former.
So, there are 2 updates that she gives you. And I guess I'll try and do her voice.
It's up to you, man.
She gives you the following updates. Gunir Calm Chatter has gone silent on Ceres, and Tenno have been able to, and we've been unable to reach the planetoid through normal means. I suspect something has happened to the solar rail there. Unfortunately, without use of the solar rails, it is impossible to reach Ceres. You would otherwise be flying blindly through a dense asteroid belt with only estimates of Ceres' current location for weeks.
Except for us now.
Yes, if you were to, with this new ship, it may be possible for you to investigate. Although, before you do, I may suggest attempting to facilitate better accommodations for your new crew member. Furthermore, given the opportunity, I would like to speak with her.
Certainly. She is...
And Aaron, who is nearby, is just kind of looks a little weary about it at the moment.
She may not be up for a long talk currently. She is only recently recovered from a long cryo sleep, and I also believe she is suffering from the strain of having gotten us back into the system. But rest assured, when she is up for it, we will contact you again.
Thank you. Additionally, there appears to be an auction opportunity that has been announced in La Media, the capital city of Neptune. Now, Median auctions are notoriously long and involved, allowing members to speak up when they wish to increase a bid. Because there is no time limit allotted for customers to speak, auctioneers tend to filibuster while their allies sabotage the financial holdings of their rivals. Up for auction currently will be Cephalon Corbin, an early Orokin-era Cephalon with extensive knowledge on void ship construction and maintenance, much like your own.
I see. That would certainly be an asset. Is there a particular situation that is more urgent than the other? It sounds like we may be the only ones who can investigate Ceres, but we are also the ones who could make the most use of this Cephalon.
That, Tenno, is to your discretion.
I see. We will discuss it then.
There's one final thing. Tenno across the system have been flocking to a particular Luan spire, competing against each other to complete the notoriously difficult principal challenge and claim its legendary prize for themselves. It seems a frivolous diversion from maintaining balance in the system, but a challenge that may be difficult may yield a powerful tool.
Indeed. And we are already in the Lua, and we are already right on Lua.
I suspect that Tenno will be challenging this for some time. Which alerts you wish to engage is to your discretion. Good luck, Tenno.
Thank you.
And I'm going to go ahead and give you an updated. I'll paste it in.
An updated list. So I assume
list.
I assume one of those is updated because Ceres was one of the places on our list before, right?
Yep.
That was where
Ceres has changed.
That was where the Ember was.
Ceres
no, not the
never
Ember.
changes.
That was where. Was that? That was where the experiment was happening, right?
Oh damn! That's not,
Oh, it's a big old list.
that did not.
Shua.
Well, let me just go ahead and put that in the.
Let me put that in a Google Doc. Yeah.
Or the Discord.
I'm gonna put it in the Discord chat.
So, because the previous thing on. No, Nova's the one with that's got supercharged. That was on Europa.
Yeah.
Was Ceres? What was Ceres? Ceres was the mag, right? Was it a
No,
mag?
that is no. Ceres was originally where Trinity was. But I ended up removing it from the list because Trinity came up at a different point.
Right. Okay.
So,
But I can't remember what you had there that said. I can't remember what the original prompt on Ceres was off the top of my head.
No, it was that's let's see. Let's go ahead and put that in the chat there.
Oh, your prompt chatter is, or no, that wasn't. Did we not have a prompt at Ceres before, or did we? I don't remember.
You did, but like I said, it was invalidated, and so
right.
I removed it
for our old. Okay, so before it was a prompt about Trinity, but then
Yeah. There you go.
gotcha.
Here are the
Thank you, NATO.
here are the 6 alerts currently available to you.
Also,
Some of them are not known to the Lotus. They are just some things that you know.
right. The Lotus did not know about the previous, whatever the previous issue on Ceres was. Well, the Lumen Spire sounds easy enough to do. We can talk more about this in character later.
Yeah,
but
go ahead.
The Lumen Spire sounds easy enough to try because we are right here already, and it also gives us something to do while Aaron's recovering.
And I'll say though, out of character, just like the last set of alerts, none of these are time sensitive.
Okay, so even if they sound time sensitive.
Even if they sound time sensitive, those plots do not start until you pursue them.
Gotcha. So the Ceres one was just updated because we sort of invalidated the original by acquiring Trinity elsewhere.
And I still wanted to do something on Ceres, and then like I had like recently had a bit of inspiration, and I was like, oh yeah, shit, there's a thing I'm gonna do on Ceres. So yeah, like I don't want you guys to I don't want your decision on what alerts to follow up on to be influenced on like, oh no, this appears to be urgent. I want it to be, oh, this looks like fun, or this is more interesting to me.
Okay, no, that's fair. No, I will say that in character, it might affect the in-character assessment, but I won't let it affect my out-of-character assessment of what I think we should go for then.
So you guys have your alerts, and you can all meet up and chat about them. Erin has Nidus has claimed a room for her.
Okay.
And is attempting to make it as cozy for her as possible. Most of that involves fungus. So
we'll just let them have their own space.
Yeah. So is she sitting out the discussion then for the moment?
Yeah. She's just resting. Nidus is attempting to furnish her room with fungus that is cozy to sit on and is not spore heavy, so it doesn't cause any problems with breathing. But then Saren is also there, being like just kind of trimming the fungus away. Because no, that's not a thing that you sleep on. What are you doing? and he's just like puts that back, and she's like, "No, don't do that. Please stop. This is weird."
They're gonna go back and forth for a bit.
You're a weird guy. So they're gonna be busy with that for a while.
I imagine Yanto's just sitting there looking at like a chemical alert console, like illuminate, deluminate, illuminate, deluminate, illuminate, deluminate, and eventually just toggles it off.
So there's we could use a brief bit of downtime, but I thought we should discuss our next move.
Yeah,
I feel like I could do with about a week's worth of sleep, but it sounds.
I was listening to your discussion with the Lotus.
And to recap, and in case you did not hear, she has notified of us of 2 new situations.
3
new situations.
There you go.
Curious definition of a situation does not include there is a 10-0 contest, even though it is possibly worth investigating. Which is apparently Grineer chatter has gone silent on Ceres, and Tenno have been unable to reach the system through the planetoid through normal means. The Lotus suspects that the solar rail has been damaged or otherwise rendered non-functional. We may be one of with the ship we have just acquired. We may be the only Tenno capable of investigating this.
Also, on the capital of Neptune, there is an auction going on. Apparently, they take quite some time, so it is not necessarily urgent because they allow people to speak and filibuster, but there is one of the auctioned items is a cephalon by the name of Corbin. The Lotus said that it has extensive knowledge on void ship construction and maintenance. It would that would suggest it would be a very good fit for our new ship.
That sounds really boring, though.
It also sounds like it could make running this gigantic ship we barely know how to use,
Well,
somewhat less insanely difficult.
Yeah, but
Let me reframe this then for you. To acquire
difficult things
stuff,
are interesting.
we are in no position to purchase Cephalon Corbin. Therefore, we would have to steal him from under the nose of many wealthy corpus seeking to acquire it.
There you go.
So we just steered that from wildly boring to wildly dangerous.
Yes.
I feel like we're not.
We're
not drawing the correct line between these two.
We could either be attempting to steal the Cephalon from under their noses, or falsely entering the auction with barely anything to auction, but then just ruining the financial holdings of everyone else that's in the auction, so that we are the only ones with 100 credits.
That would be entertaining, but I honestly think simply stealing the Cephalon would be easier than that.
You'd be surprised with these corpus fucks.
Yeah, I mean,
They don't say fucks.
There's
You'd be surprised with these corpus bastards.
There's no reason we couldn't go in and investigate both avenues, however, and decide which one we wish to pursue, if we were to choose that.
I mean, if we were thinking of going to an auction, he kind of nods over to the well, I'm assuming where distant lure is in the viewport. I mean, we've kind of got a good lead on where there might be something worth selling.
That is true, and those ships do not mean. I would like to run it by the Lotus before trying that avenue, but it is certain that those ships have little more than historical value to us. None of us are trained to pilot them, nor do we know of any. Well, I suppose, though, in retrospect, if we were to be able to acquire them, could not Loki, Titania and Saren now pilot their ships, assuming they still function?
As soon as you say his name,
Loki is here, isn't he?
Loki is there. You don't know if he's been in the room the whole time or not.
It's possible. I wouldn't put it past if Loki somehow can be invisible even without key rays, even without key ray to draw void power from.
He just pulls a lampshade off his head and steps forward into the room.
Yes, that exactly.
This is
where do you even get
this? Oh, I suppose this is what I get for leaving his paint job plain.
That wouldn't turn on. Wait, what was I pulling? I don't want to think about this anymore.
Loki gives you the internationally recognized "call me" sign.
Oh no!
And then he pieces out of the room.
Can we put him back to sleep?
I'll see if I can find a hammer.
Curate she still needs to talk to Loki at some point, but he's evidently adapting just fine for the moment. She has no longer talked to him for worry about how is he adjusting. She should have known that even something that is a piece of Xavier Dumont is adjusting just fine. Thank you.
Yes. Good.
Just well, I can't talk anymore, and I'm sort of weak without being connected to you, but I have both arms again now, so that's super.
That little fragment of Vigilant shining out of here like a fucking diamond in a coal miner's earlobe.
The
The other new event is right here on Lua. Apparently, Tenno have been flocking here for something called the Principal Challenge. It is supposed to have a legendary prize, though the Lotus did not say what.
Didn't we just get done doing a crazy challenge with a prize involved at the end of it?
That is
Well-
true. I suspect this will be different, however. If no Tenno have completed it yet, it is likely a greater challenge than the one you two went through. Worth noting, though, it is right here. It is not as likely to be as dangerous or lethal as these others, especially with a number of Tenno. Even competing Tenno would not abandon another Tenno to death. And as well, it would be something less dangerous to do while Erin is still adjusting. I do not wish to drag her into a situation too dangerous before she has a chance to comprehend our situation.
Plus, if we didn't want to enter, we could always just watch other Tenno face plant into those Orokin obstacle courses.
Certainly.
I mean, I could do with a laugh.
I wonder if the Reapers are competing. I would like to. They were interested in what was going on with the Warframes. I would like to contact them and update them on what we found personally.
Sure, Hikane would like to stop hunting to kill you.
Do you
I don't think that's ever going to stop.
do you believe she is angry at me for some reason?
Concealing information,
Hmm.
things along those lines. I think she's angry at you.
I see. Yes, then perhaps this will be a good peace offering if she is upset.
Plus, she can't murder you in front of like that many witnesses.
I think she can.
All right, she
It doesn't
can.
matter if she will.
Given her temper, I am not certain that would stop her from trying.
Look, I'm just trying to sugarcoat this, okay?
I'm here to destroy that.
We also have our previous leads still to consider. The sergeant has a mag that he has been showing at fashion shows. Sargus Rook has likely returned to Saturn looking for secrets with his Ember, and on Europa, there's supposedly some experiment going on with a supercharged Nova Warframe. And of course, there's still the rogues to contend with, though we do not currently have any leads on their whereabouts in particular.
Well, I would suggest maybe somewhere where a lot of Tenno are getting together might be a chance for us to, at the very least, hear if there's been any more rogue activity.
We're likely at
They've been
least
trying to
run
reach
into-
out and recruit more people.
We'll probably run into him there.
Do you think they will try to compete as well?
It stands
that-
to reason if there's some sort of legendary treasure, I know at least one of the rogues that will be there.
That is
Oh,
a good point.
God.
The others,
Yes, okay,
the
I
others
think-
may
I
not.
think
The others may not risk getting caught, but he certainly would not see that a problem, would he?
We also know of one of the rogues that's going to be at the auction.
Oh. Do you think if it's a Cephalon that Bookkeeper will be interested?
Aye.
As much as Bookkeeper seems reasonable, I still would not wish for another Cephalon to fall in the hands of the rogues.
Well, we scope out this challenge. If it's something we can do, then it's at best something we can use in whatever's going to come. If at worst it's just something valuable, then we can always use it to barter for getting our hands on the Cephalon. Plus, we get to see which way the wind's blowing with the rogues.
I'm surprised, Yanto.
What?
You have become more cautious to even consider that it is a challenge that we may not be able to complete.
Oh.
She gives you a small smile.
I hold up my hand for a high five.
Kirei stares at it for a moment as if she has to recall what this means, and then kind of weakly high fives you.
Doesn't refer to the cue card inside of a jumpsuit. Yeah, just kind of blankly stares at her for a moment and goes, "You know, I have gone through similar shit to you guys. I am starting to understand that I can't just punch every single problem I run into."
Sorry, this is a bit of an aside, but if I were to hazard a guess, we would likely run into Ariane and in Saturn's system.
Oh.
I know that assassinating Sargus Rook and dominating the moons of Saturn was a goal of hers.
Huh.
That is true. If we have not, she may be there if she is still intent on that plan.
Huh.
Yeah.
There's also no guarantee that any of the other leads won't have their own rogue activity. We certainly haven't met all of them yet.
So to sum it up, the entire system is a gigantic lawn full of rakes, and we've just got to pick which one we're going to step on.
Seems
Cool.
that way.
We just have to accept that there is this other sect of Tenno who are acting independently. And if there is a big event happening, we're likely going to encounter them there. At least one of them.
But it also doesn't hurt to be cautious based on which of these Tenno might want to attack us or not.
Indeed, Bookkeeper is unlikely to be hostile toward us except as a last resort. But Ariane certainly will find some means of...
Ariane will kill the hell out of us. She will shoot the blood out of our bodies.
Yep.
Kaite is the unknown. He is very mercurial. He may attack us if it is within his mood, or he may decide if there is something more interesting that catches his attention, he may simply ignore us.
I see that fucker again. I genuinely know what I'm going to do, but look,
he is still 1002.
It doesn't stop him being a prick.
Well, it sounds like the safest option and the smartest option is also the boring option of the auction.
Perhaps. Though I personally would like to check out this principal challenge.
Well, then heck, we're right here.
Exactly. It is convenient for us to do so. And it will give us a chance to gather more information about what has been happening since we've been gone.
All right. That sound like a plan?
Is that what you also want to do, Yanto?
Yeah. I said this like 5 minutes ago, and then we started talking shit about me. And I know that's a good way to derail any conversation. There's just so much to talk about.
It is.
I'm such a total failure of a human being.
No.
I was merely teasing you. I apologize.
I know.
I have heard that is the thing young people do, that they often tease the people they like.
Ugh, get a room. We have a lot of them now.
Are there any that aren't full of bizarre meat moss?
I think
they will be when you get in one.
This did...
What are you implying?
Even if they did not even if they did not each have their own rooms, this was meant to hold an entire company of soldiers. I am sure there are plenty of rooms, especially as officers like we did have their own rooms.
Sounds
Yeah.
like Kirei wants a room.
Could you stop waggling your eyebrows quite that much? You're going to pull a muscle.
I
It's
I
good
suppose
exercise.
so. Or would you prefer us to be somewhere more open so you could observe?
I am going to find a room of my own, alone.
I'm gonna back out of this conversation. We're going to Laura. We're gonna do the thing in the place. And he's just gonna walk away.
He walks backwards, the door shuts in front of him.
He's actually gonna run off and see if he can find Neza.
I did not expect that to. I did not expect that to fluster him more than you.
You know what? Maybe a little bit of Loki is actually in you rather than you being in Loki.
What gives you that idea?
I don't know.
She get-
Something.
She gives you a face that is not so much innocent as still entirely expressionless.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
From down the hall, you just hear, "I can still hear you waggling your goddamn eyebrows."
Speaking of Loki, though, there is something I wish to speak to him about, so I think I am going to try and find him.
All right.
He steps out with a different lampshade on.
Where do you keep finding those?
Life of the party
I don't-
right here.
I do not believe the ship even has lamps of that variety.
He motions to a bin in the corner that's just full of lampshades.
Did you prepare these for when you were still Zavir?
He shrugs.
Tactical.
I cannot think of any other reason they would be here.
He shrugs again.
I'm leaving.
If he did, he's not going to admit it. That would just ruin
Ruin the
Right?
mystery. You never
Mystery?
you never explain what you're doing. That's rule number 1 of Zavir.
Yeah.
Keep them guessing, no matter how infuriating it is for them.
Okay, so firstly, we're going to go with I want to go with Yanto. So you're going to try to find Nasia?
Mhm.
He has currently found a room that is, well, it's very broody. It's like he has found a room that is mostly undecorated, and has no real windows or panels or terminals. It might have actually even been a brig room. Yeah, this might have been just an extension of the brig.
This little fucking edgelord.
And yeah, he has taken to just meditating there.
Yeah, Yanto's kind of works out where Nezra is. Isn't going to immediately interrupt, but it's going to go off and find. I mean, I'm assuming there are automated ways to clean Warframes, but he's just going to find like some solvent, some cloths, like a bucket of water, and just wheel them back over to the cell, and then he's going to just rap gently on the side of the door, just to.
Yeah, he looks up.
I don't think we've properly had a chance to kind of say hello. Is it all right if I come in?
He looks at you and then looks at all the empty space that's in here.
Well, yeah, I know, but it's your space. I don't want to.
He gives you a shrug.
Yeah, he'll wheel the. I'm assuming which is like almost like a bucket trolley. He wheels it in there. It's like, so I know this has been days. Like everything that happened back at Rathum was massively like over the top and scary and and I'm not here to pretend that I understand because I've got no fucking clue what any of you guys are going through right now, let alone what happened to you. But I just want to let you know that we are here to help you, even if you don't want all the kind of affection and stuff that the other guys do. And trust me, some of those guys are high maintenance. Some of them are uphill work. And if you want to be your own Warframe, I'm okay with that. I'll let you know that I am here to just help out. Like, he kind of looks around. Like, I'm not really going to criticize your taste in interior design because my literally just see all my positions and just on the floor. Just I have a filing system. I can find everything perfectly, but it's not really the best idea. How was I going to spell this? Will you get freaked out if he just kind of dabs at the side of his cheek, just because you are still kind of like
he looks at himself and doesn't quite realize that he is in fact quite smelly, and he gives you this kind of look of resignation that, like, yeah, he'll accept whether he appreciates it or not.
That's fair enough.
He's very much just, you can tell that he is absolutely in this state of unknown. Like, he doesn't have anywhere to be, anything to do, and anyone to serve, and he's just kind of, he doesn't know how to deal with it. Yeah. There's also just an entire piece of him that's missing that he doesn't know how to deal with either.
Yeah.
Like, he's going to accept your company. But yeah, it's just general sort of feeling that you get from him.
No, that's fair enough. Yeah, Yanto will start just cleaning him down. I'm assuming the big X over his face, is that like etched in, or is that just painted on?
It was just painted on. It cleans off just fine.
Doesn't have a problem with that?
No, he doesn't seem to have a problem with that.
All right, fair enough. Yeah, that comes off. Yeah, just kind of washes him down. And when he's done, just steps back, shoots the cloth into the bucket. There we go. Don't suppose you'd be interested in helping me clean the room, would you? Just, I'm starting to get a distinct impression the last guy who spent time here had probably been punched repeatedly in the face. He kind of points over to like a brown stain in the corner of the cell. Like, I don't think that's part of the decor.
He looks around and then just kind of rolls his shoulders, and then he will get up from where he was meditating and will idly assist you in cleaning up the room.
Yeah. He doesn't want to stress him too much. He just wants to, like, hands him a broom while Yanso's just kind of like, right, you clear spaces, I'll mop after it, then we'll dry off after that.
Yeah.
And yeah, he'll just spend maybe an hour doing that.
Yeah, you spend some time cleaning up the room. Nasia is He's not standoffish like he was at first, like when he first joined you guys. Again, he just seems lost. But you feel like maybe he's that this is progress. Because he's not just kind of ignoring you and laying there and giving up.
Good.
He is acknowledging you and following your directions.
Okay, good. Yeah, I think with that, yeah, so I'll just kind of round it off once I kind of sussed everything out. The brig is at the very least, if it's still sparse, at least it's clean. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Don't want to take it too far, but yeah, he'll start wheeling the cart out of the brig, and if Nezha isn't really going to follow him out, he kind of leaves it by the door. He comes back into the room and just very casually leans out his hand in a sort of not transference sort of way, but just in a sort of, if you want to take my hand, you can take my hand. If not, you don't.
He go ahead and give me a charm roll.
Oh boy, the thing I've got 2 dice in.
Roll something.
Roll my. Actually, no, no, Jesus Christ, I forget. When I had experience with Kerry, I actually put points into face. Admittedly, it's still only 4 dice. Do I have a relationship that would be good for this? Do I have a functional relationship that would be good for this? This is the question. I suppose I've still got a nice relationship with Kerry. Let's give that a go. She gave me the confidence to actually be a slightly more charming person. Pair of 6s.
He looks like, he's going to, but then he hesitates and takes a step back and returns to meditating. You succeeded in the respect that, like, you got him to let his guard down enough that he almost took your hand.
Yeah, he's interacted. He's been reciprocal. He hasn't necessarily taken the lead, but he's showing that he is able to cohabitate with people and work with people. So that's good. Yeah. That's fine.
So yeah, it's not, magically he's social, but you have succeeded in the respect that you have at least etched away at his guard a little bit, his guard of loneliness.
I will love the edgelord right out of you. Yeah. Yeah, Bianto will just kind of nod at that, understanding.
Just go ahead and note that you have 2 width on your character sheet.
Nice, I have girth.
With Nezha. That'll have purpose at some point, I think.
Okay. Yeah, Yanto will just will his trolley away. Just say as he's leaving, like, "No, this is nice. If you need anything, you know where to find us."
He gives you a nod.
Yeah, we'll trundle off. The space janitor that he is. Therapeutic space janitor. This is what I want. This is my new concept.
Yes, good. So then, let's see. MT, what were you going to be on before you guys head down to this particular spire to see what all the hip kids are doing these days?
You know what? I'll actually spend some time with Excalibur because I haven't done that in some time since I found out that he's been awake. I've been very busy. It's been very stressful, and I took Saren on that mission instead of him. So
he is very appreciative of any time that you spend with him, because that is time that you are not dying.
I'm not dying.
That is time that you are not flinging yourself into danger and potentially dying.
Hey, we've been doing that since I've been awake.
Where he isn't around.
You just haven't told me that you've been able to walk around.
He thinks it over for a moment, and nods. It's kind of an apologetic nod.
Oh. See, I don't know. You seem to know more than me. All I know is, what I know when I woke up. But you probably know who I am, what I did, and where I came from.
He doesn't react for a moment, but then gives you a nod, kind of against his better judgment.
It's okay. I've met a couple people so far who know more about me than me. To tell you the truth, I'm kind of scared to know. I could have asked Bookkeeper. I could have asked him anything. I could have talked to the General. I could have... I've had all these opportunities to answer these questions that I have. But a part of me doesn't want to.
He just kind of puts a hand on your shoulder, gives you just a very reassuring nod.
I appreciate you looking out for me. And
he gives you a slight bow.
It's just weird. Because I don't feel like I know you, but I also feel like I know you more than I know anybody.
So where are you talking to him anyway? Like, is there a particular room? Like, do you like chat with him in the rec room? Do you chat with him in
I don't know, somewhere with a window so you can see space. Look at all that space. Don't hit the window or else they'll go into lockdown and then we'll have to hack something. And I've learned that from playing Warframe.
Yeah, right. Don't shoot that glass.
Don't
look at it. Don't think about it. Don't.
It's not even there.
It's not there. Just leave the room.
Literally every other piece of glass on this whole fucking ship is blast proof, and this one fucking window made of sugar glass. You sneeze near it and you avoid the room.
It makes the stars look cooler.
He walks over to there's a poster, like a really old poster, hanging on one of the walls. It's super dated. It's so faded that you can't even read it. And he just rips a piece of it off. And with space as the backdrop, he rips it into two pieces. And he motions to one piece and motions to you.
Okay.
And then motions to the other piece and motions to him. He tears the piece representing him in half. And then, using the piece indicating you, indicates a mending of him. As if you put him back together.
So what you're saying is somehow the old me helped you.
He gives you a very firm nod. Like there's absolutely no doubt about this.
So now you're trying to help me?
He nods again. Again, like the sincerest you can possibly get from someone who can only communicate with body language.
Do you think I'm doing okay? Do you think the old me, when I chose to give up that life entirely, what I'm doing now, would she have wanted this?
He takes the paper, the little paper that was indicating you, and he tears it in half.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
And using the piece that represents him, that has been mended, he sort of stands it, because this is all in the backdrop of this window. And he sets it up against the window next to the piece of you that is ripped in half, and sort of indicates a slow mending, and him guarding you during the process.
Thanks.
He nods.
It's hard. I'm trying to put on a tough face, and especially to help out the others, but sometimes I just get caught up in all these what ifs. Who was I? Am I doing right? Is it even worth it?
He reaches out and sets like a fist to the center of your chest, just to kind of indicate your heart. And then fans his fingers out as if it was busted.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
He shakes his head and thinks, and actually seems a little frustrated that he's unable to convey this properly.
I'm sorry.
He shakes his head at you and holds up a hand as if it's okay. And then he does that again. But then indicates with like his two hands kind of up in the side of his head, sleep. As if he's trying to say that your heart was broken before you slept. And motions to the slow mend of the paper that he just kind of like loosely put back together, as if to indicate like you're mending after something bad happened to you.
So maybe dwelling on the past isn't what I should be doing. It's not what the old me would have wanted. It's not going to do anything for the current me. I just have to keep moving forward and keep healing.
He nods. And then goes over to the paper and then kind of slips that piece of paper that's supposed to be you together, as if it's totally mended. And then and then sort of indicates a you looking back, as if once you're healed, then it's time to look back.
Yeah. Here. I'm going to take the paper from him.
Yeah.
And I'm going to fold it. I'll fold them into little stars. And I'll hand him one of his, the half that I made of, the half that he ripped of his I made into a star, and the half that he made of me into a star. And he'll take 2, I'll take 2.
He takes it and he puts it to his chest.
I know you don't have pocket. I don't think you have pocket. What are those on your legs?
He looks at him. He looks at you. Shrugs.
Maybe you can keep them in there. As long as you don't need to breathe out of those or something. I don't know. I don't know how you work.
He reaches out and puts a hand to your cheek, and then just kind of gently brushes his thumb against your cheek, and then down to your chin, and then pulls his hand away, and gives you a bow. As if that was probably the most physical you ever got of him.
Yeah, Saren shows a lot of physicality.
Saren shows a lot of physical affection. That was the most physical affection you've got from him, and it seemed almost like he realized it as he was doing it, and then recoiled and went back to being a knightly sort of protector.
You're too tough. You're too tough. I'll give him a little punch on the arm.
He shrugs. Gives the sort of shrug. You know the look.
I know the look. I'm gonna find a room.
He sort of motions to himself and then to you. Does he have to ask if you want him to come with?
Yeah, help me find a room.
Not a little. And then, yeah, he'll join you.
There's a lot of rooms on this ship. You can help me find the best one.
Yeah, he will join you. Yep. He will absolutely assist you in finding a room. What sort of room you looking for?
One that's comfortable.
Mm-hmm. That's fair. So do you want a view into space? There are officers' rooms that were just specific to where the officers would be sleeping and habitating. There are individual rooms with single or double beds. They don't have bunks. They do have desks. So I mean, you can take one of the officers' rooms.
Yeah, I'll take an individual room. A room
and
that I don't have to share with anybody?
They have a view into space.
Yeah, I like that.
Excalibur finds a pretty good spot in the corner that he can occupy. And yeah, they also have an attached bathroom too.
Oh, good.
So, Kirei.
Yep.
You are going to go chat with Loki.
Yep. Although apparently not go, because it turns out he was right here.
Yep. Loki is just kind of... He's just standing there. You seem to want to talk to him, so he's there. He's probably planning something. He's definitely planning something.
I do not know how much you remember before the other day, but I wanted to thank you. Whether you know it or not, you have been supporting me for some time.
He doesn't react for a moment and then just kind of nods a little. And goes over to the captain's chair. And takes there's a little there's a little sort of nameplate that is like, slid onto the back of the captain's chair that in old Orokin script does read Xavier Dulance. And he takes it and he indicates it and then indicates himself and then holds them both and holds that out as if to indicate that they are two different things, and then puts it to his chest.
I see. A part of yourself, but not the whole you, as you currently stand.
Yeah, he gives you a nod.
That makes sense. Yes, I sometimes feel the same way.
And then he spins the chair around and sits in it.
This, I am
He gives like that the deepest lounge. Practically sliding off the chair kind of lounge.
Of course. Head rested on one hand.
Yeah.
The
back almost totally straight on the back on like the bottom of the chair. That kind of lounge.
This is perhaps something I do not need to ask, but will you continue to support me? If you wish to.
He gives you a cool thumbs up.
Thank you.
He gives you a pair of finger guns.
I would not stop you if you had other goals you wish to pursue.
He looks around at all the other goals he can pursue.
Well, I suppose without an operator, your options are a little more limited, but nevertheless.
He does actually do one thing, though. He because you do bring up the topic of other goals to pursue. He walks over to one of the other chairs on the bridge. And just like the captain's chair, there are little nameplates. They can be swapped in and out. They're essentially like a way of assigning a seat at the on the bridge. and he takes one particular nameplate and tosses it at you.
She catches it, but she has a feeling she knows what nameplate this is already. She will read it, though.
Scroll down. It is Aragonus Fields. And he motions emotions with one finger to the nameplate that you're holding, as if to indicate that if he has any goal, that's it.
You wish to find out what happened to him?
He gives you a nod.
Certainly. If we run into any leads, I will keep an eye out for any leads on that. The last place you remember contact with him would have been Neptune, then?
Yep, he just does a few taps on the comm terminal.
Mm-hmm.
Just mindlessly, like not even looking at it. Just a few taps in the comms terminal, and pulls up it's an old Orokin like the database on these computers are so outdated, like thousands of years outdated.
Well, yes, obviously everything is probably well. Here's the thing: on one hand, everything on the ship is probably ancient technology compared to anything they use now, but also the Tenno themselves are also more used to older technology than current technology.
And also, the orbiters use ancient technology,
right? Like
it's the Corvus and Grenier who use new tech. No, the thing that's just noteworthy though is like. Because he pulls up, he just shows on like a hologram, like a big hologram of Neptune, with La Media, just very distinctly indicated, with and it just pulls up a news story from La Media about a particular clinic that had been opening. About like the opening day of a particular clinic. You remember that Lieutenant Fields, like what his final stand was at that clinic, as that clinic seemed to be where the outbreak was going to start, if it was going to start.
Oh, that is still the same city. That city has existed for a very long time.
He thinks. And then nods as if he should have realized that already.
Yeah, I mean, Kira was also feeling the same way. She never really thought about how the capital of Neptune has not changed somehow in 2,000 years. That is.
Yeah, he just like kind of like tilted his head as if like, huh.
It is.
Yeah, and then nodded.
Well, that is good news, I suppose. It means that we may have a bit more basis to search. I would otherwise fear that things would have changed so much that we would have no idea where on Neptune to start.
And I assume you have your alerts just kind of listed in a holographic form, just somewhere in the side of the bridge. He does a little tap on the computer, so he pulls like your alerts and your notes sort of come up right next to Neptune, and he highlights the auction,
right,
and then motions to you and motions to him, as if he is formally requesting that you bring him, since that will be at La Media.
Of course, I will certainly bring you along when we go there.
He gives a fist pump.
Yeah,
a celebratory fist pump.
She will be confused for a second, but then recall that this is a thing Yanto does sometimes, and return the jest. Yeah, complete the gesture, I suppose.
No, not a fist bump, a fist pump.
Oh, a fist pump. Okay,
this is like a celebratory fist pump. Just yeah.
I would probably bring you anyway if we are going to be infiltrating that. You would be the go-to person for the job.
He puts a lampshade on his head.
I think when I am with you, that method of disguise will not be necessary.
He puts on a second larger lampshade.
Why are there multiple sizes of lampshade? We do not have lampstands on this ship.
He puts one on your head.
I thank you.
He gives 2 thumbs up.
I'm going to go retrieve something from my room now. Find a new and pick out a new room here. She walks out. She walks to where the orbiter is connected. Lampshade. She does not take the lampshade off her head.
He gives you finger guns as you leave, and then turns to walk somewhere, trips and falls right the fuck over because he can't see a goddamn thing with 2 lampshades on his head.
Basically, we've just got a mute Xavier Delan.
What'd you say, Luke?
We've basically just got a mute Xavier, haven't we?
I mean, more or less.
Kirai's immune to just about everyone. So, like, if there is anybody who can... Kirai is actually the perfect partner for Xavier because his antics will have very little effect on her most of the time. She will simply accept them that it happened and move on.
So, yeah, Amanda has stepped away for a moment. She went to go get tea because she's tired and her bones are aching.
I would could you please tell Amanda that I recommend that the tea goes in her mouth? I don't think she should try and put it on or in her bones.
Manda face. Zach recommends that you put the tea in your mouth and not on you or your bones. That's his professional opinion.
As a doctor or a tea drinker?
As a doctor.
Definitely both those things, which I am certainly both and not neither, because that would be silly.
Yes, we all know that this is a very, very serious.
I'm a very serious person.
Is there anything that either of you want to do before you see what all these kids are up to these days?
Sure. After a little bit of time has passed and she has relocated her secret thing to her new room, she hidden it appropriately.
Mm-hmm. Do you take one of the officers' rooms too?
Yeah, probably. Unless they're running out. She doesn't really care if she has.
No, there are like 4 or 5 officers' rooms.
Yeah, she probably will. She may move. She'd consider moving to just one of the bunk rooms when she moves out because she doesn't need much space to herself most of the time. But
Colin has just kind of assumed one of the bunk rooms because he doesn't really need much.
Yeah,
he's a monk, and all he needs is a place to float.
They both need very little for different reasons. But yeah, she wants to speak to. She'll go. If assuming she's not like dead asleep or something, but at some point she wants to talk to Aaron a bit more.
Sure. Yeah. Don't say enough time passes that she's awake. You find her in the cafeteria, getting herself a hot cocoa because nothing beats a hot cocoa in space after you've been asleep for thousands of years.
Curie makes a note to attempt to see if they can move some of the gear from their orbiter onto this ship, or at least like the ability to make food and the foundry. And she doesn't know that this ship would, how much this ship would support those things. I guess they can always just go to the orbiter for those functions.
She is even gone and made a hot cocoa for all 4 of the other maggots that are around.
That is.
How small are the mugs?
I see you are
They're-
walking.
There's like real small like there's a real small like teacups that you can only get like 3 or 4 drinks out of.
So an
I'd like
espresso cup.
Yeah.
I'd like Yanto just to be there watching these things drink and then eat the cups in just rapt attention.
Yeah. You can be here. You can be here watching this.
Quietly does not even notice that his own mug of cocoa is being slowly eaten.
Yeah. In the process, you do not realize that there is a maggot that you did not account for that has snuck up and began sipping your hot cocoa, only to eventually consume your entire cup.
It's now just upside down inside the mug with its little legs flailing.
Yes. Yes, that exactly.
It would seem that you and Nidus are getting along.
I think I have to get along with him. I don't think he's going anywhere.
He is very attached to you.
Mhm.
We have a similar situation with the Excalibur one, the one with.
She sort of describes how Excalibur looks. I assume it's the base Excalibur, right, with the like one horn kind of thing
Yes.
in the front and such. And
MT.
I know who you're talking about.
You have encountered him then. Or you witnessed him lock MT into a room for a while.
You're gonna give me a brains out think.
I suppose 2 10s or 3 9s.
She
I will
nods to that, but the hesitation in her nod says a lot. That she knows a lot more than that.
You have encountered Excalibur before.
She tenses up a little bit.
It's fine. You do not have to speak of it if you do not wish. I am merely surprised. I was not aware that Warframes existed at the.
There are some things that are hard to explain or hard to understand that were happening in the void.
I
I
see.
know that the Tenno stood out the most, and they stood out the brightest. And so I didn't know their names, but I know the 2 of them. I've seen them.
Him and MT, you mean?
Yeah. Before he was that. He doesn't stand out as much anymore.
Before he was.
He's not
That
as
is
bright.
That is very interesting. Though, I suppose you were familiar with Calamity Company,
I was, yes.
which, if we are right, and they are, it seems the origin of the Warframes are related to them, then I suppose that makes some amount of sense.
With the Excalibur? No. No, there wasn't anyone in Calamity Company that Excalibur had a base on.
Is that so?
Yeah.
That is curious. Then where did... Perhaps there is still more we don't know then.
He and your friend, I'd seen them before. They were as bright as each other for a while, but then his brightness dimmed and they were only bright again when she was with him. Combined. It was so difficult to describe the process of transference. So Colin was explaining to me is it was really difficult to describe transference just from the things that I saw. It's just I would see the dim lights of the Warframes and the bright lights of you, the Tenno, and when they would combine into one. And I guess that was transference, and then they would glow even brighter.
It is difficult even for us to explain.
I've watched those clothes travel the whole system. I've seen them brighten, I've seen them dim, I've seen them go to sleep. They were asleep for a very long time.
I see. You are already somewhat aware of our situation and your own then.
Colin helped me understand a little better what was happening. Yeah. I may have been in cryo, but I can see the void. And even when I was asleep, I could see the void. But I could travel the void. I could move around. I could see it from different perspectives. Now that I'm awake, I can't. I can only see it from my own eyes.
I see. That is...
Colin seems to be suggesting that meditation might help me regain that clarity.
That is certainly possible.
But just between you and me, I'm really bad at it.
I am not very good myself. My mind is very active most of the time. Quieting it can be difficult.
He makes it look easy, and because of that, he is a total jerk.
Colin has a very unique perspective for a Tenno. He has walked a bit of a different path than most of us.
So I've noticed his light. His light is a lot different. He has traveled with dimmer lights. I recognize those as Warframes, and he's never. Well, there was a point that I recall that his light did combine with one of them, Oberon. I was saying, but it was very brief.
I see. So you can recognize people then based on how they appear in the void?
With a lot of concentration, yes. I can. I can. It's sort of like And yeah, have you ever seen or interacted with a Kavat?
Yes.
Well, you know how when you interact with a Kavat for the first time, you can't really tell the difference between its face and any other Kavat's face, but if you spend enough time with it, you can.
A little bit, I suppose.
It's sort of like that. If I have just seen you for the first time, you know, you're just a wandering light, just traveling through the void. But if I follow you around enough, I'll start to get more acquainted with the shape of your presence in the void, the intensity of your glow, the subtle patterns in your colors.
I see.
Everyone's presence in the void is different, but everyone has a presence, not just Tenno. Well, people do.
Hmm. I suppose that makes some amount of sense. I've never honestly given much thought, as I have never seen an antenna display any capability with the void. At least not since we have reawoken.
There. I don't think everyone can reach out and hold on to the void like you do. I don't know of anyone that can see it like I do, but you've. I remember how the void looked before I could see it clearer. The the bright colors of clouds and chaotic storms. You know what I'm describing?
Uh,
Yes?
a little bit. The
Just looking out the window when we're traveling through the void.
mm,
I assume that's I assume that's something she is familiar with, or is that
Yes.
not something? Yeah.
yes.
Out of character, for those of you who have played the game, which is everyone here in the game, whenever you happen to go to any area in the void and you look outside of your orbiter, there is a very distinct appearance of space.
I've never really noticed that.
You haven't?
I'll have to pay closer attention.
It's a very bright, distinct mass of clouds and textures and storm. It. I'll even send you a link in case I'm not describing it right.
Sure. Ah, yes.
That's some fucked up looking space.
Yeah, it's just a mass of color, of all different colors. It looks like it's a constant. It looks like it is constantly in flux, like it is swirling and destructive. And yeah, as she is describing this, she stops, and what she says next, it's sort of like that sort of it's sort of like as she's describing it, and then stops. Almost all sound seems to hush before she says, "All of those lights are life."
Huh.
All those masses of tendrils and storm, those are people who have and will live. Consciousness and sentience that has moved on, that hasn't moved on, trapped and not trapped, living life, or living death.
If we had not changed, we might still be there.
Your lights are the brightest, the easiest to find. I could follow you, see how you interacted.
We were not always like this.
I know.
I'd intended to see if you needed filling in on what the situation is, but you seem to have a fairly good grasp of things.
There was a great storm, greater than I've ever seen before. The void lit up everywhere. And then coalesced into one distinct point. And suddenly, hundreds upon hundreds of lights shined brighter than I'd ever seen before. All collected into one mass, to one place. For a while, everything was still turbulent. But there was one light that put itself in the center of the turbulence, calmed it. No, it didn't calm it. It stopped it. When that light went away, I was scared again. I knew when that light went away, it would be turbulent. The storms would come.
I remember the Shadow Man said something to the effect of something had changed, and that was what was allowing him to move about, him and things like him.
There was one of you, a Tenno, that held it back. As he did for... Well, I don't really have much of a sense of time, so I can't say for how long, but very soon after the storm that brought you about.
That would be millennia then.
The light faded recently. That's when I panicked. That's when
That
you guys came to help me.
Tenno was not asleep?
That Tenno never slept. That Tenno held back the storm.
I suppose... No, you wouldn't know that Tenno's name, would you?
I don't know any of your names. Well, I know your names now because we're introduced, but
Yes. That is something worth...
I can recognize the intricacies of your presence in the void. I've had affectionate nicknames because I can't hear you.
Oh? Did you have one for Colin? It seems as though you recognized him and followed him for some time.
Yes. Jerk.
Even then...
Nothing has changed.
I'm slightly concerned to ask what the hell you thought we were. But
She looks at you, and
as his eyes braces himself,
Half bear.
he kind of he automatically opens his mouth in order to repeat, and it goes,
Because you look like you look kind of like a bear that was cut in half down the middle, like vertically, and then and then are kind of glowing on one side.
"Fuck you, Manda. Fuck you." Thank you.
she shrugs.
He shrugs back, like,
Yeah. Kira just sort of tilts her head at that.
She looks at Kirei.
I called you Tulip.
That is much different than I was expecting.
You have the coloration that I remember of tulips. And I don't know. It just kind of stuck.
She shrugs again.
I see.
Kira doesn't emote much, but Yanto can probably tell that she seems unusually pleased with this.
you got the pretty one, I got the bisection bear.
I mean, this
I
is
got the-
Although you are emoting a little bit, she can't tell because she's
that
like-
she doesn't know as much.
she can't like you are a blinding piece of energy.
Yeah.
That's how she sees you.
Kira, can you tone it down a little?
Like no, obviously like she's gotten used to it again. But
Right.
but yeah, like she
is
can't.
she capable of seeing our physical features if she focuses, or
No.
no? So she literally has no idea.
Like if you ask her, she just says,
No, I can't.
So she actually has no idea what physically we look like. We just look like energy to her.
"Yep." Yeah, and if you ask her about that, she does explain that as much that
She
she cannot see the details
Yeah,
of your face. Like
sure. She probably asked something effective. Well, what do we look like now? And she's like pretty much the same. Kira would be like, wait, so you can't like see us?
I started losing my sight before Calamity Company even rescued me. I was all but blind when they got me, but I could still hold a gun and still shoot and still hear. And as blindness set in, more and more I started to see the lights and the colors and the void a lot more.
I see. I did not realize you do not seem to have any problems getting around in any case.
I mean, I can see the faint traces of things in the void. This cup, I can see it's a blurry sort of facsimile of what I think a cup looks like. It's been a long time since I've actually seen one.
I assume you can see the
It's sort of like a small gray cloud in a cup shape.
I assume you can also see the small bit of Nidus's small creature that is curled up inside it. Then
Yes, I can. I might be able to see details if I were right up against your face, but I don't think we've known each other long enough for that to be kosher.
I do not have much sense of personal boundaries. I would not be offended.
I do.
That is fair. Well then, you do not need to come up with an answer immediately, as we have some non-dangerous business here on Lua. However, we will soon be pursuing some rather dangerous missions. And I will understand if you will have a place on this ship as long as you wish. I will understand if you would like to set off somewhere safer.
Where?
There are relays, gathering places where
Those relays are frequently attacked.
that is a fair point.
Every one of the planets in this system, I see the faint glows of people mashing into each other, and I see the glows dissipate back into the world, or reappear somewhere in the void, just floating in a sea of souls. There's no real, truly safe place.
That is a good point. We are, however, notably chasing danger to an extent, though our ship is usually somewhere safe during such events. There's no guarantee it will continue to be.
I can provide you support however I can.
We would be very grateful.
Mm.
In particular, we have just received word of one of the bodies in the system is unreachable by the rails. You may be the only one who could get somebody there to investigate.
All right. I'll continue working on the whole meditation thing with Colin.
If
I can get a better perspective.
There's
in
no
this limited one.
And like the way she says that, like there is noticeable derision Like you can tell very much that she hates being grounded like this.
It is
Uh,
difficult to get used to being in your own body again, isn't it? While we were asleep, we inhabited our warframes. I was rather confused when I first awoke.
Don't get me wrong, I missed flesh. I missed my body. But I didn't miss this perspective. So low. So limited.
Mm.
You can see the solar system at a time. I could even peek a little beyond. Could
In a
see
way,
hundreds of things at once.
similarly, I find myself missing transference, missing the freedom and ability that comes with inhabiting a warframe.
Well, either way, hopefully Colin can teach me proper meditation or something. I'll get used to it eventually, and maybe I'll get my perspective back.
Perhaps so.
Anyway, that I'll keep working on, so I might be able to better navigate you to this other planet.
Thank you.
And when I do, when I am able to get better perspectives again, if there's ever any particular strange fringe place in the solar system that you ever want to explore, let me know. There were
Perhaps-
plenty of things that were going on where no rails were attached.
That could be worth investigating. Certainly, that is still one of the Tenno's limits.
I don't know how they're doing now, but I know there was an entire colony that was set adrift. It was a colony ship set adrift, made an emergency landing on the closest world. Eventually, they just made a home of it. No rail, no contact with the outside. At least, I don't think there was contact with the outside. I'm sure they would have figured out a way to construct a portal or build a rail if there were.
That
I haven't checked in on them in a while.
could
I
very
don't
well
know
be,
how those lights are going.
if they are still there, could very well be the most peaceful place in the system.
and she smiles a little at the thought. And yeah. Yonto slash MT. Is there anything you guys want to do before you go check out all these kids? If you want to do any quality time with any relationships, chat with anybody to potentially investigate or get some extra
Yeah,
information.
Yonto, how's your relationships?
Y'all got some
Fucking
relationships
terrible.
and problems.
Fucking awful. Let me count. Let me just list out how many relationships are at 0. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, only 4.
Nobody likes you.
Wow, that's awful.
Fucking brutal. Thanks for that.
Sorry.
So
What tea are you drinking today, man? Or is it fucking gin and bitterness?
It's jasmine, actually.
So,
Oh.
yeah. So you have some relationships in crisis. Does MT have any
My
relationships that need a repair?
my focus is shocked, but I don't know how to fix that
Okay, I mean,
because I don't know anything about focus.
I
I don't even know why I use this focus.
we'll get to that if you want to try and repair that.
Sure.
Kirei, do you have things that are damaged?
Just two things. Yanto and Teshin are her only damaged relationships.
Well,
okay.
good luck with that second one.
Yeah, he's not exactly. I think in theory if she were to repair that immediately, try and repair that immediately, she'd do so by going over things she has learned from him and otherwise and his teachings.
Play a game of Lunaro.
You can just kind of meditation is always an option.
Lunaro.
It is true.
You are space ninjas.
She can also hang.
You can always float there for a little bit, reflect on your thoughts and feelings on a subject, and repair a relationship. That is always an option.
She is more likely to spend some downtime with Yanto though, since.
We'll go. I'm gonna go in order here. Yanto, what do you want to work on?
I mean, I've still got at least 1 point in my relationship with Kirei, so unshocking the relationship with MT seems like a good idea.
All right, how are you going to do that?
Fuck it, I promise I'll do this at some point. Yanto is probably going to come back from the Lando with a couple of, I don't know, holo discs. You're
gonna watch some TVs?
It just comes to MT and goes, right, it's Tenenbaum. There is a movie we watch at Tenenbaum. It is an ancient classic called Die Hard. You're coming with me.
I didn't even understand half of those words individually, let alone when you put them all together.
You're about to watch a band with no shoes kick all kinds of ass. Look, do you want to watch a movie or not?
Sure.
Sorry, I would just like some way to decompress and.
What's Tenenbaum? Or Tenenbaum, as you said it.
It's a regional thing, all right. Look, leave me alone. Why is everyone being so mean to me?
Because all your relationships are shot down.
Oh, look, I don't know. I'm sorry. I promised I'd show you some like old classic films, and I don't know. We got some time. We got some downtime for the first time in absolutely ages, and I thought it'd be nice just to chill out and like be normal people for a bit.
I don't know what that means. To be normal people. Like, you understand that, right? Like, every moment that I've been awake has been nonstop action.
And this is the other bit. This is the bit where you can just rest and turn bits of your brain off which are not essential and enjoy stupid stuff that doesn't mean anything just so you can feel a little bit better. And I know that sounds kind of bad, actually, the way I phrased that, but
no, that actually sounds perfect.
Thank you. I don't know. I just realized Janta's going through the. I found this really funny YouTube video, and then the total anxiety you get from that.
Yeah,
it's like I need to watch this movie. Oh shit! What if she hates this movie? Oh god! What have I done?
Since you actually made a scene of it, I'll say that you can pull it out of how many points did you have in it?
It's only 1 point.
Okay, you can pull it out of crisis.
Damn.
Yeah. No. My XP management is a clusterfuck. I have no idea how much I have to spend.
Gonna have to go do an audit.
Ugh.
Yep.
Hey,
have to do it eventually.
do you realize how much these motherfuckers were making fun of me for fucking Manny and never spent his points.
You had like half the campaign's XP saved up, though.
I wasn't using it.
To be fair, Manny was a juggernaut by the end.
Yes, he didn't need to be any more powerful.
Why not just have
awesome.
5s and everything, Manda? You could have done it.
He's not perfect.
Or just have 5. You could have just do what I do. Spend all of your points on relationships.
I had like 20 relations. There were a lot of characters in that campaign.
So, MT.
Hey, hi. Yeah, still here.
What is your focus school?
Xenuric.
Excalibur, at one point, he kind of like gets your attention and just kind of like silently asks if you'll come with him.
Sure. What's up?
And he will go to the rec room. And he will motion towards a part of the rec room where they had some practice equipment. And there are there are some practice swords.
Oh no!
And he motions as if to ask if you would like to have a spar.
Your name is Excalibur. Okay? You're going to kill me even if you don't mean it.
He shakes his head.
Yeah?
He throws his arms out as if like to indicate like no.
You were there when I first woke up. You saw how bad I was with a sword.
He holds up a finger. And then takes one of the swords. And then adopts a he adopts what out of character you would know as a classic style of saber fencing of saber pose, and like it's instinctually familiar to you, that particular posture.
Muscle memory.
Yeah, like you do recognize some of that muscle memory sort of coming out when you see that. Of just like, yeah, I think I've had that posture before.
It's like, oh man, my back feels so much better doing this. I've been slouching the whole time. Why didn't anybody tell me to stand like this?
Just audible cracking of vertebrae. Oh god, I'm like 3 inches taller.
Ah.
And so, if you would like, you can roll hands plus punching, or brains plus outthink to repair your relationship with Xenuric.
All right. Don't fail me, 5 dice, 2 5s.
Yeah, what's the damage to it?
1 shock.
1 shock.
That's it.
Yeah. Yep. That repairs it. As you and Excalibur spar for a little bit, but it's like not so much full hog sparring as it is just sort of reminding each other of the motions.
Do I beat him? Does he let me win?
You don't really fight.
Okay.
You just kind of like you both just kind of go through the motions and recollect the general flow of Xenuric.
We tapped swords a couple times.
Yeah, you tap swords a couple of times. Well, probably more than a couple, but it's like a slow sort of thing as you're both just getting back into the form of it. And after a little while, he gives you a bow and puts his sword away.
I bow back.
Okay. Kirei.
Yep.
Any what relationship do you want to work on?
Let's work on the Yonta relationship.
All right. What do you have in mind?
Honestly, just kind of hanging out and relaxing with the one person she maybe kind of lets her guard down around now.
Okay. You can either make it a short scene or you can roll some dice.
I mean, I'd willing to make it a short scene.
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't have too much in mind, but I have an idea of how to start it at least.
Yanto, are you free?
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, the answer's probably he's probably found like maybe not an officer's quarters, but he's found like janitor's quarters. The access to all the stuff he probably needs to use to help spruce up the ship and keep things working.
Have you not taken one of the officers' quarters?
I kind of like it's I know it's smaller, but it's like it feels cozier. It's warm. It's really nice and warm. But yeah, it's nice. Just I've got the bunk sussed out. I've got a vid screen in here. It'll do.
It is certainly a change of pace for us all to have our own rooms instead of sharing one.
Well, I'm sure you will appreciate not having me just stanking up the place.
Actually, I find it rather the opposite. I find myself missing sharing space with you.
Oh, well, I guess. I mean, it's not like we can't hang out. It's just some space.
I understand.
So, how things going with, well, everything with you? I know it's been kind of crazy. It's always crazy. Why do I keep saying that? Yet a day has yet to go past where something traumatic or violent or crazy didn't happen.
Such are our lives. I am accustomed to that, though, I suppose.
Yeah, well, I mean, you kind of have to be. The system's given us much of a choice.
That is true.
But yeah, if anyone can do it, it's you.
I do wonder, though, if there is such thing as being too accustomed.
Well, like, it just becomes the life sort of thing.
It is. If, say, the rogues were to succeed in creating a system where we did not have to fight, I am honestly not sure what I would do.
Didn't you like? I mean, and maybe I was kind of weird. I was kind of weird when I was well originally normal, but didn't you have like a plan or something you wanted to do, something you wanted to be?
If I did, I no longer remember. My memories of everything before the incident they come and go. I sometimes see things in dreams, but I don't really remember myself in particular before then.
I suppose that makes sense. It's all in weird ways. But I figure when it comes to this sort of thing, we can't let this kind of mess perpetuate itself just because we don't have anything to do. And you can't just dread that happening. You need to start thinking about what you would want to do if you could. Even if it's opening up a petting zoo for sentient Warframes, which legit could actually be a, judging by the way this place is getting.
Indeed, it is certainly different than how it has been. Much, even on a ship this big, it is still quite lively.
Well, yeah. We got Colin, Erin, MT, and yeah, you and me, and then I have genuinely lost count of how many Warframes are actually on this ship now.
Let's see. At least of the ones, not counting Rhino, who is still asleep, there are Loki, Excalibur, Oberon, Titania, Trinity.
Loki steps out of a corner with a lampshade on his head.
Are you just hanging around me, waiting for me to say your name?
He gives you a finger guns and leaves the room.
Trips over the door frame on the way out.
Yeah.
I lost count.
I think that means mission accomplished.
At least 5.
Yanto's genuinely laughing. Just, oh god damn it!
So yeah, you guys have a
he'll
time.
He'll kind of just round it off by just kind of going, oh, if I had to figure out the batshit weirdness of this universe, I'm glad I'm doing it with you.
I think I would like that.
Yeah, Beyonce would give her like a hand squeeze.
She'll lean in and give him a kiss.
Yeah.
Yeah, guys, go ahead and restore a relationship die with each other.
Yeah.
Don't think MT has any other relationships to work on.
Nah, I'm good.
You want to run around switching anything?
I like everybody, and everybody likes me.
Kirei, is there there's one other relationship that you have to work on?
Yep, Teshin.
Yeah. How do you want to try and repair your relationship with Mentor Dad?
I suspect Kirei also finds the rec room with the training swords.
Mhm.
And unless somebody volunteers to train with her, she will begin going through forms with them, taught by Teshin.
Colin volunteers. He's a simple man.
I appreciate
Swords, training,
Yes.
going through forms. That's his bag, man.
I am honestly surprised you did not just take the room with the swords as your own.
Ha! I'm not that predictable. Oh, that's tempting. I mean, look at him.
How many have you taken into the room you do own?
Ooh, at least half. I have a problem. A sickness.
You already
I'm in a
have
disease state.
I do not understand. You already own what is by many considered to be the highest quality sword a Tenno can own.
That is a loner.
A loner?
It is not truly my sword.
A loner from whom?
The Silver Grove. Sylvana. That is a blade that is a blade that she bequeathed upon me as her silver emissary. So long as I act
with the an ethics that she believed that I would, then I am worthy of the sword. But if I choose otherwise and go down a different path, I'm no longer worthy of that sword. And it's on me to give it back to her. Just in case there's a Tenno who would be more worthy.
I am rather surprised. If anyone else had told me that, I would believe they were trying to sell me a fairy tale.
I mean, to be fair,
I suppose, yes, that would be appropriate given this situation, wouldn't it?
I was given a sword by a very talkative patch of woods who said, "Hey, you're an ethical boy. Have this sword." And I was like, cool.
Is this our answer? Are you meant to lead us, Colin? Will you be founding your own kingdom
Oh, heavens, no.
of the eternal Tenno?
No.
Watery bins lobbing swords from lakes to random people is not a solid basis for any kind of monarchy, says
Exactly.
Yanto as he walks by.
Of course you know
Exactly
that quote by
that.
heart. Of course you do.
It's part of the national fucking anthem. Verse everyone forgets.
So yeah, go ahead and roll like brains without think.
Sure.
We're
She'll
good
roll
with
point.
that. Add an extra die because you have Colin helping you.
Sure. Is he just helping her with forms, or is he actually sparring against her?
It's whichever you want to flavor it.
Probably helping her with forms.
We'll help you with forms if you want to. If you want to hustle, like
she stands not even a little bit of a chance against Colin. She is. She is not very proficient with her own with weaponry outside yet.
That's fine. I mean, like he's a chill dude. He'll if like I said, if you want to just kind of go over forms, he'll help you go over forms. If you want to tussle, he'll tussle. It's whatever to him. He just lives in the moment.
2 6s.
Yeah. What's the height of the relationship?
It's a 2-point relationship.
Yeah. Then yes, you do in fact restore that as you and Colin go over forms. Colin actually knows forms of other different of other schools, but you guys don't share the same school, and there are things that you know that he doesn't. So yeah, you go over forms and share a bit of your knowledge with him.
I imagine Naramon form would be a lot about uncovering weaknesses in the opponent's form and exploiting them, discovering their own patterns and using them against them. It's all about knowing the enemy. If you know how your enemy fights, then you know how to adjust your own fighting accordingly.
Yeah, and that the fluidity of how you move with Naraman is not something he's especially akin to. If you were to describe his style, like there is a definitely fluidity to that too, but it's more of a raging storm.
Right, it's a constant barrage, whereas
Naramon is more of like shifting tides and the like. So
ready to. I imagine Naramon has a lot of stances from where you can both attack or defend, depending on what the situation warrants.
Exactly. So yeah, you go over that, and there are things that he doesn't know there that you then show him, and that restores restores your relationship with Teshin because
Master Teshin. She's been straying a little bit here with her breaks in will, but she is training once again.
You know that if Teshin were aware of this, that you were just kind of hanging out with a monk and teaching him as a space monk has taught you before, then shit, yeah.
He would give a curt nod of approval.
Yeah, he absolutely would give a curt nod of approval. That's the kind of shit he's all about. So let's see. Go then to Yanto. Any other relationships you want to work on?
Oh god, so many.
The rest of the session can just be Yanto. Yeah.
This episode is entitled Yanto unfucks his social life.
So,
that would actually be a really entertaining episode. I'm not gonna lie.
With Always Sunny in Philadelphia episode.
How Yanto got his groove back.
So one of the things with monsters that goes unstated a fair bit as we play, when you're doing quality time with like other party members and other PCs, it's generally like totes cool to just have instead just a scene rather than rolling some dice.
It's kind of a house rule of us.
Well, that's not entirely a house rule, actually.
I mean, it makes sense. Like as a social contract, just going to go. Oh, we agree to like have good RP.
The reason actually I say it's not entirely a house rule is the game itself actually suggests that you don't take relationships with other PCs because attempting quality time can get weird with other PCs. But this is kind of the only way to go about that, and just kind of eschew dice rolls when you're doing quality time with another PC. With NPCs, though, I'm absolutely going to call for quality time rolls,
Gotcha.
because that's going to inform the scene, or inform the narrative, even if I'm just giving like a few sentences. So yeah, Yanto, what do you want to work on?
Well, it makes sense. I mean, because I've basically the things that are in crisis are the ones with Space Mom, and Rhino and the Silver Grove. I can't really do much with the Silver Grove just because we're not on freaking Earth.
You can always meditate.
You can always meditate. You've got the two representatives of the Silver Grove here.
You have not just two. You have 3. You have all 3 of the silver emissaries on your ship. Like you can always hang out.
Oh yeah, Colin
with Colin, Oberon, and Titania. You can always do that. You can always just meditate on what the Silver Grove means to you. Like
that would involve Yanto not being racist for a brief amount of time. So.
Colin, get that pig out from under your arm. I need to meditate. Sorry.
So yeah, what do you want to work on?
Oh god. You know what? Yeah, we'll actually go with the Silver Grove.
Okay. Yeah.
Just from
What sort of things what are you going to do? How are you going to bring good thoughts about the Silver Grove?
Probably just kind of going around the ship. Probably actually because there was a huge hydroponics deck, wasn't there?
Yes, there was.
Saren
is currently she's currently working on it. There are many little sproutlings throughout the whole hydroponics deck.
Yeah, Yanto will actually probably see if he can find Titania if she is not too busy. I don't know, giving Loki a wedgie or something, and just sees if she wants to help him.
Yeah, you find Titania and also Loki. Loki has been put into underpants so that he can be hanged from a locker by his underpants.
Hunter just kind of walks up, sees this scene, looks around, picks up a lampshade, puts it on Loki, then motions to Tanya. You want to go do something slightly more fun than abuse Loki?
She looks at you as if, like, to question what could possibly be more fun.
Okay, I don't think I can actually justify this as more fun, but do you want to go and help me, like, get the hydroponics or help Sarah get the hydroponics place working?
She gives you that sort of look of, like, you know that way that a teenager having to hang out with their parents, like that sort of like, ugh, look, but at the same time, you know that like they do, like they do get an emotional fulfillment from it. It's just like they don't want to admit it.
Don't worry, you can make a little dirt snowman or something.
You know what I'm talking about. That's
Yeah.
She's going along with you, and that's her demeanor.
Yeah, it's kind of, if I let the parents know that I'm kind of enjoying this, they'll make me want to do it more with them, and I just, oh god, I don't want to deal with that shit.
Look, man, being a fairy is rad, but being a fairy that has to trim hedges and shit, like that's not as rad.
Oh no, that's entirely fair. If anything, Yanto may just take a moment to get a small bit of scrap metal and crudely blend it into like a tiny shovel. It's more of a spoon, but
she actually will return to her full size for this. Like,
fair enough.
So that she can actually, like, you know, have better articulation with these things. Partly also because she knows that that if she messes anything up, Saren will vent her into space.
And it'll be such a bitch to get back in.
Yeah.
And yeah, he'll probably see if he can find Oberon, who is, I'm assuming, secretly playing around with the maggots. The minute someone walks in, just goes.
Yeah, Nidus isn't around, and he's currently playing with one of the maggots. And when you walk in, he hides it behind his back, and then like when you're like, "Hey, man, you want to go do some hydroponics?" He gives like a little shrug of like, "Yeah, sure, whatever. I'm Fairy King." And when you're not looking, he shoves the maggot under a table and follows you.
Yeah, just like, yeah, this is about par for the course. And yeah, he will.
Nidus sort of like croons through the doorway as Oberon leaves, having been watching him the whole time.
Just around the corner.
Yeah.
Andrew just pauses like, does he have to make that kind of meaty noise every time he moves?
So yeah, what do you want to roll for?
Probably hands plus shop.
Yeah, do hands plus shop to
enough time to allow shocks to rinse out.
Yeah, do some roll hands plus shop to just help Sarah out with the hydroponics farm. She's very appreciative of you guys going in to help.
Yay! I'm helping. I'm not helping. Oh god, I'm not helping.
She's very meticulous, FYI. What did you get?
1, 3, 4, 7, 9. I fall over.
She kicks you out of the hydroponics farm eventually.
It begins with just to help, then a dirt clod is thrown, then a second dirt clod is thrown, and suddenly somebody's being hit over the head with a wheelbarrow.
She kicks all of you out. Was that in Crisis?
It was in Crisis.
Okay. Was it a weird relationship?
It was a standard relationship.
Okay. Go ahead and lose a die from that relationship and gain one in a weird relationship. You can optionally choose to have it be the Silver Grove as a weird one. I've done shit like that before.
Oh god! I mean,
because like that then if you do that, it makes it more of a mystical thing.
This is true, actually. Fair enough. In which I'll
Like it makes it less mundane and more weird and mystical.
It's more of a state of mind. It's not like, okay, Siren, we're leaving. Okay, fine.
But you could also hold on to that die and figure that out later. But yeah,
Also, basically, so erase the regular relationship and recreate it as a strange relationship.
Yeah, you can do that.
Yeah, I'll do that.
And that also gives you a weird die that you can use on your powers, but you can do that, whenever. Any other relationships you'll work on?
I think it's pretty much now just Rhino and Space Mom, and I don't think repairing the relationships with his surrogate father figure and his surrogate mother figure are particularly good things to do right now.
Okay, if you don't want to do that, you can pass.
It seems like he's still dealing with a bunch of shit right now, and getting into that is a whole other thing.
Okay, if you choose. All right, so eventually, then you guys, after spending a few days of downtime, just hanging out, clearing your heads, just annoying Sarah until she kicks you out of the hydroponics farm, watching TV or watching movies and other fun things you guys do. Eventually, take a lander down to the spire that the Lotus had given you coordinates to. And you find that there, as you do enter, in the main chamber of the spire, there are a ton of Tenno that you recognize. The Reapers are here. The Reapers are here. Some mysterious Tenno is here that is wearing like.
Wait, me?
Oh shit, son. No, there is some Tenno here that is wearing like what appears to be some kind of pirate's coat and also a mask over his face that is super stylish looking.
Mm.
Yeah, that swashbuckling motherfucker.
Are we okay? Out of character, are any of us gonna pretend for a moment that is not obviously Kaite? Like, seriously?
So
Okay.
this mysterious Tenno, huh?
Mysterious Tenno who seems really into pirate stuff.
But like, you guys are the only ones who know he is Kaite.
Right? Yeah. Nobody else.
Because like, no one else is aware that he's.
Everyone else is just like
no one else is aware of his existence.
This is not a disguise that was meant to fool us, or if it was a really not well thought out one.
Yeah. So you have some kind of pirate, some kind of fancy masked pirate. You have Hikane and Tsukumino. You have Team Delta Elemental.
Yeah, so it's immediately going, motherfuckers, running towards them.
Yeah, they see that you're there, and they're pretty hyped to see that you are here. You don't see Raven. Raven is not here.
She's busy going through some kind of.
Well, yeah, the contest isn't completed yet. Of course, she's not here.
She's currently
it would be over.
She's currently dealing with some shit on her ship.
Yeah,
some annoying asshole who just keeps popping up and
right. She just finished Chains of Harrow. Yeah. She was trying to figure out how to exercise a man in a wall.
How do I get this doppelganger of me off my goddamn ship?
I have a million Warframes. One of them's got to be able to hurt him.
Well, no, you just Necros.
Yeah,
just punch the soul right out of the ship.
So yeah, Greta, Fedor, Byron, Hikane, Tsukimono, There's the three of you. Sorry, I need to math something here.
NATO prepares to play 30 NPCs in one scene again.
Yeah, there's three of you. There is the mysterious pirate, whoever that is.
The mysterious pirate. Who could it be? This is like. I don't know if he sees us, but I imagine if he sees us walk in, he's gonna take one look and be like, "Ah, shit."
Gigantic fake moustache. Like, who does he think he's actually fooling with that?
Well, no, he's wearing a mask. He's wearing a very fancy, like, Venetian mask.
Right, but here's the thing. It'd be one thing to hide his face that nobody could tell that, hey, that's weird, I don't recognize this guy. But everything else he's wearing is meant to draw the most attention to him possible.
Well, yeah. You guys know who he is. You know it's Kaite, and you know that he wouldn't do anything differently.
Yeah, he is he is a man trapped by his own sense of style.
Ego.
His own sense of this whole thing.
Now, I know nothing about Persona 5, but would you say he belongs in Persona 5?
Belongs in the fucking trash.
Because everyone I've seen from that fucking video game looks very obviously gaudy.
Yeah.
And not like they're trying to hide themselves at all.
Looks like he belongs in Persona 5.
There we go.
That's the nicest thing anyone's ever said about a character of mine.
And yeah, those are the current people that are here. And Byron is just like, it's good to see you. It is good to see you again. What has brought you here?
The challenge? Can we say the challenge? The challenge.
Oh, yes, that was actually a stupid question. I am so sorry.
Was there another reason? What brought you here?
Oh, yeah, we're doing the challenge, says Greta. And Tsukimono is just like, and failing it once again, all of us. We can get one part of it down, but the other one...
Well, what is it?
And Hikane she just says to you guys, I assume you also intend to do the challenge.
Yeah, any tips?
Then I will explain. The challenge lasts for exactly 1 week. Or rather, the challenge lasts for exactly 5 days. It is a long and arduous process. It requires 2 things to be accomplished. Firstly, you must find the artifact. Secondly, only 1 Tenno must be standing by the week's end. When a Tenno is defeated, the floor will open up and swallow you and deposit you safely here in this lobby.
So it's a free-for-all brawl.
I've been mostly treating it like a sort of survival, make friends and teammates and things like that. She stabbed me.
Fuck that, I'm gonna punch a man in the face.
She stabbed me in the back. Do not trust her.
Hey!
It was a literal stabbing. Hey! I've never been so betrayed.
So with this, team building and trust and all that is kind of out the window.
Hey, what happens in Murder Dome stays in Murder Dome. Is it called Murder Dome? I feel like it should be called Murder Dome.
Well, I mean, and Tsukimono is just like, well, I mean, you don't have to fight each other. You can always attempt to disqualify yourself to give the artifact to someone else.
Ah.
Yanda just gives that the sideways look of, but why would I want to do that?
Is that something you've done?
Just make sure you two do not disqualify yourselves at the same time in an attempt to give each other the victory. I take that back. I don't think that will be a problem in retrospect.
I would never disqualify myself.
Yes, I realize that belatedly. I have news. By the way, when we have a minute, I do have news for you two. We have made a rather powerful breakthrough in finding out about the origin of the Warframes, and perhaps why they are coming awake.
I would be interested in hearing this. Thank you.
She nods.
And as she's kind of gone a little off topic, as she's gone a little bit off topic, the Fedor, he kind of runs a hand through his dirty blonde hair and is just like, well, I'll just go ahead and explain the rest then. So we've never been able to find the artifact.
Oh, so it's not even delivered. It's you got to find it as well.
Yeah. So like we've, tried to do the whole survive for 5 days thing, and yeah, we've been at it for a couple weeks at this point. We took 1 week off last week. We're coming back at this fresh to try again.
Does the artifact move, or is it in the same place every time you try?
To which Greta just says, "It's kind of a maze." And also the maze changes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, excellent.
Every day.
Oh, nice.
I was hoping you weren't going to say every hour, so this might be easier than I thought.
I think it's every day. It's twice a day.
There we go.
Twice a day. Maybe I just got really lucky.
And you said you could get disqualified. How?
If you, say, fall into a deep pit that should theoretically make it impossible for you to continue, you will be deposited out here in the lobby.
Oh, cool. So there's no, like, you can just deliberately, I don't know, stick your hand in a thing and it just makes, no, out for you. You got to throw yourself into a pit. Cool.
If there is a thing that can theoretically kill you, do that and you are disqualified.
All right.
But not dead. You should really make that clear.
Yes. It deposits you here in this lobby.
I heard you the first time, but I just want to make sure.
So yeah, we don't know where the artifact is. We've been trying at it for a while. But something this complicated must be really good.
I guess we won't know until we win, huh?
If it is like the trial we discovered, likely a piece of one of the original auric conversions of our gear.
And Tsukimoto's just like, and if it's this well hidden and this controlled,
a Warframe, you think?
Perhaps either a Warframe or something of equivalent power.
Like an entire set of weaponry.
Yes.
No
matter what, Sugimoto or Hikane continues, no matter what, whoever it is that requires it is going to have a very powerful boon.
Hmm.
Well, when does it start?
There are
Just shouts now and boots us into a hole.
Ha!
there are more than 10 of us now. It can start now. It can start whenever we choose to enter. And he motions, and Byron motions to like the giant double doors at the end of the lobby.
So what?
There's-
If someone comes late, they just have to wait for everyone else to fall out?
Once it starts, it's going for 5 days.
Hmm.
And that's it. Oh, right. Also related to that, there was one time that there's a few places that we've come to that have food and beds. So it is possible to eat and sleep and things, and your basic needs are not entirely accommodated immediately unless you find these things.
Oh wow! So it totally panders to casuals then.
Well, I mean, when the first time
Yeah.
I
Yeah, that's awesome.
I didn't find the banquet hall
Oh.
at all.
Oh, how long were you in there for?
I was in there for like 2 days until I was so hungry that I just threw myself into a hole just so I can get something to eat.
Yaz just leans over and pats them on the shoulder. Like that sucks. I'm really sorry to hear that.
Hmm.
Greta seems okay with it though.
This is
She's all smiles.
everyone.
I don't think I've actually I don't think I've described her very recently, but like she's actually like I think the youngest to know.
Yeah, isn't she like 12?
Yeah, she's like 11 or 12.
Mm.
She's very short, very scrawny, but like she's just this bright bastion of energy.
Aaron wouldn't be able to look at her.
Yeah, Aaron would just kind of look away.
My
Man.
eyes.
Oh,
Hmm.
it's blinding.
Everyone here is. Am I to assume, judging by how everyone is, that this trial's to be taken without the use of a warframe?
No, actually,
Or
we
are we
have
all...
to have a warframe.
Okay.
You have one warframe, one set of weapons, and that's it. You can hop out of your warframe, if you like. But otherwise, it's one warframe, one set of weapons, one you. And then Colin just stabs his sword in the floor and is like, "Son of a."
Oberon's right there, Colin.
I'm sure he'd be willing to take one for the team.
I guess you will be observing again.
He looks at Oberon, and then you recognize you notice that like. So here's the thing. You notice that Oberon he's totally willing to like engage transference.
Yeah.
But when Colin looks at him and looks a little bit like lost in the process of trying to make a decision, Oberon makes the decision and shakes his head.
Keeping on his oath.
So like Colin was tempted there for a moment, and when Oberon recognized that he was being tempted, Oberon was just like, no.
He's still such a good friend.
I mean, it would be sweet if it wasn't perpetually screwing Colin over.
Come on, let's not make fun of him. Colin, if we win, when we win, we'll share whatever we get with you.
Ah, it means so much. But I think you're only speaking for yourself. I'm looking at Yanto right now.
What?
He's not going to share a dang thing with me.
Look, I. All right, you want to share? You want to share? You can use Rhino if you want.
That's fine.
Genuine offer.
No, that's fine. Do your
Fair
thing.
enough.
Have fun. I'll be hanging out with whatever Warframes you don't take in Aaron.
You mean you'll be watching us and laughing?
Oh, that too.
Yeah.
Don't put any bets against us.
Oh, my bets on are on Akane.
Your confidence in us is yet to manifest.
You just told him not
Just
to bet on
kidding.
us.
Just kidding. Monks don't bet.
So here's a question. We have gone over what happens if we have gone over. I assume that if no one has found the artifact by 5 days' time, that then no one is the victor, correct? What if there are still multiple? What if somebody has found the artifact, but there are still multiple people around?
Sukimono just says, we don't know that, actually. Everyone in the last couple of trials have been very gung-ho on getting rid of competitors, so it always came down to there being one at the very end. I would assume that if there are still people remaining, that it might be overtime until there's one.
Sort of last man standing.
I see. That would make sense.
And now I will give you the option. As you guys have just arrived and you've put it over 10. Also, it should be noted, at least one of them explains that there has to be at least 10-0
Yeah.
in order to start this, at least.
Right.
And they explain that there have been other 10-0 who have attempted this too. So I'll give you the out of character. I'm going to give you the option, the choice. You can engage this as just your crew here. You'll have to wait for at least one more, or you can wait for several more.
Well, waiting for more means waiting for more competition.
But
So, like, do you want?
But at the same time, it sounds like the problem with previous attempts has been that nobody has found the artifact. More people does increase the chance that someone at least runs into it.
So yeah, out of character.
Well,
Sorry, out of character. I was going to say, no matter what, there are only 9 of you, as it currently stands. I think that's how I counted it. There's 9 of you. Yeah, there's 9 of you. So no matter what, there's going to be one more that's going to join. Next session, I'll introduce them. So the question is, out of character, are you going to wait for one more? Or are you going to wait for 3 more? Is this a 10-way competition or a 12-way competition?
My vote's for 10.
Kirei votes for 12. She thinks that the main thing is actually finding the art, actually being able to find the artifact.
Okay. And Yato?
I'm gonna have to go with 12 just because I like the characters you make.
Okay, so then I will at the start of next session I'll introduce 3 new 10-0.
Hard mode then, huh?
So yeah, next session I'll introduce 3 more 10-0. Second thing. This is the thing, that last thing we're gonna do before we end the session. Is you guys, all 3 of you, are going to create a room for me.
Ooh!
Nice.
So, I'm going to start. Let's see, who wants to go first? Who wants to go first in creating a room? And what this entails is name, purpose, and gimmick.
Do we have to say it out loud? Can we send it to you secretly?
If you want to send it to me secretly, you
I
can.
really,
If you
really do.
want to say it out loud, you can.
No. Secrets.
Okay, send it to me secretly then.
Well, part of me actually is kind of disappointed that you told us there would be restrooms, because I really, really was like, that sounds like something that would be fun to stumble upon and be like, is it safe? Is it? Do I trust this?
It's the booby trapped one.
if you want, you can. Like even the ones that have like kind of a rest sort of thing have a gimmick.
Mm-hmm.
So there's something there.
It's Mexican themed. It's
Hmm?
actually really nice.
Yeah, you know.
Secrets.
Ooh, I have a good idea too. I think I also want to send it to you secretly.
Yeah,
Luke, do you want to say yours out loud or send it to me secretly?
I feel like I'd be tipping my hand otherwise.
Yeah.
I'll fuck you guys up.
All right, yeah. So send it to me. Send it to me secretly. It has to have a name, a purpose, and a gimmick. And as you guys are doing that, I'm going to call it into the session.
Yay!
What'd you think?
Friendship is the best ship.
By the way, everyone gets a relationship experience.
I was so hoping you would say that.
Everyone gets a relationship experience. There is a lot of friendly hangout fun times.
Yay, friendly hangout fun times. I love that anime.
Yay!
Ray, what should this session be called?
This session is called the Principal Challenge Part 1.
Oh.
I have a feeling mine's going to get rejected by the fact that you've already made this room, but we'll see.
So
Yeah,
you
we'll find out.
You need name, gimmick, and what?
Name,
Yeah.
purpose, and gimmick. Purpose is to say, so I will give one example that you'll get just because everyone will talk about this one. The cathedral. It is a impractically tall room with a cathedral-like face at the end. The only entrance that is immediately accessible is a bell tower, which requires some difficult climbing. The front door is very closed, like blast door closed, with no panel to hack open. And if you want to actually get into the cathedral and see what's beyond it, you have to climb to the top of the bell tower or figure out some way to open the blast door. But yeah, the name is the cathedral. The purpose is being front of a cathedral, and the gimmick is getting in somehow. So that's just an example.
Okay.
And that's a freebie. Everyone, like you, I'll just say as much. You hear Team Delta Elemental talking amongst themselves, complaining about how annoying it is trying to open that goddamn blast door, and how any of them have figured it out yet.
Oh, god damn it, Nate! I just I really want I feel like I owe it to Trinity to use her. But at the same time, Loki is so goddamn perfect for this scenario, too. And if we do this and then the auction, that'll be another 2 scenarios in a row.
All right, Trinity will be fine.
So, play whoever you want. This is a battle royale style thing.
Yes.
Hey, Nate.
Yo.
I was wondering if you were accepting room submissions from the audience.
Go ahead and send me a room if you'd like.
You should get Max to send one too. He'll probably come up with something terrible and cruel.
Yeah, send me a room suggestion if you would like. I will certainly take it.
You've bested my puzzle room.
This is just going into it is to say this is absolutely a battle royale style plot or style setup for this scenario, but with the caveat that you guys know that you're not actually killing each other, but certainly because it's battle royale style, I absolutely am going to encourage forging alliances and stabbing each other in the back.
Okay, so you're gonna encourage. So okay, fuck it. I'm gonna be Loki then because Trinity is only a good pick if we're gonna go in with the gimmick that the three of us are going to be together until the end.
Okay, yeah.
And it is a.
Now, that might not be the case. You might decide
They
that
might get separated.
Yeah, you might get separated, or decide that that you want to join up with like Hikane because she's tough.
Yeah, and she's definitely trustworthy not to stab you in the back. Totally.
Or
That was a concerning laugh from
But
Amanda.
nobody would suspect Trinity of stabbing you in the back ever.
That is a good point. I could definitely go for the D&D cleric phenomenon. Do you want to backstab the healer? Is that really something you want to do?
I mean, like if that's the case, if you're playing Trinity, if you use Trinity for that, like you are playing the person who can heal. So
everybody
like,
wants Trinity on their side.
and everyone's gonna want Trinity on their side. Absolutely.
I mean, to be fair, can you even backstab Trinity considering she's got a lifelink?
Suddenly it's
You
become
stab me.
Survivor.
Yeah, hit me. 1 out of 1 Trinity just like, go on, hit me.
Yeah, go ahead and mix like Battle Royale and Survivor, and this is what you get.
But on the other hand, as Loki, I can literally just spend this entire contest invisible. It's just
No,
bye,
we just track
everybody.
you by lamp. We just track you by the lampshade.
Loki, please. You're trying to survive. Do I want to try? I mean, it's a question of do I want to try and survive based on cunning and trickery, or do I want to try and survive based on actually having alliances?
Yeah, like, do you want to be stealthy or politicky?
Something to think about.
Oh yeah,
Something to think about as like for next week.
there's definitely one Kira's own stats to lend itself more towards because she's not going to be succeeding any face rolls without some help.
Look, man, being able to heal is going to be all your face rolls you need.
That is true.
Like you have the prime stealthy and prime politics frames here.
Right.
You have choice.
Yeah, that's the thing is I have 2 really good approaches and I'm not sure which one to pick.
But either way, what's your experience, everybody? What did you guys think? Did you have fun, etc.?
Yeah.
Oh man, that was really good.
Excellent. I am glad. I look forward to next week and us beginning the battle royale. I fully expect that you guys are not going to see all of the rooms.
I'm excited. I'm excited.
Yes. I have written up 30 different rooms so far.
And you're asking for more, you madman.
And I'm asking for more because the maze gets randomized twice a day.
Throw a room away.
Like
No,
the maze gets randomized twice a day, so like it will shuffle around and one exit will lead to a completely different fucking place.
Nate, at some point you need to collate all this stuff and just release a fucking module.
I mean, with this one especially, I absolutely could. Because this one is definitely the easiest to release a Monsters of the Childish Things module because it doesn't have to be intrinsically tied to Warframe.
No, it's just a fun maze room.
Like this is here's a giant here's a giant maze in impossible space that that is shifting twice a day.
I have an amazing and terrible idea for how to find this.
Okay. In any event, I'm gonna end this recording.
Yeah, I'm gonna play a little Warframe or